there were so many factors going into that. Like, I graduated in May 2020, height of COVID, shit's going down. I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills. And
Mm.
so I was like, well, why not show Hole on the internet? And like, I have friends that have been doing porn for years, and I don't know, I never really imagined myself in the space. And so it felt really empowering and cool to like kind of set my own space and like, yeah, share myself.
Literally Gasian.
Literally Gasian.
Welcome to Literally Gasians, the podcast where two gay Asian guys get real about their feelings, etc., etc. This is Bao and Chris, and we are so excited for today's guest, but you might not be able to tell it from our voices because I literally have COVID.
Oh, now it's your
Chris-
turn.
No.
From last episode, I had COVID.
The last episode,
Did I
Chris
give
had
it to you?
COVID. We did not even see each other, but maybe a roundabout way you did. But Chris, you're also dealing with something.
I just woke up from Dory Alley weekend.
Oh, well, yeah.
For those uninitiated, Dory Alley is up your alley is San Francisco's answer to the popular Folsom Street Fair weekend, which is so big, internationally known that San Francisco had to make like a smaller one for locals. But it's now so big, and it took it out of me. So yeah, I'm only on a few hours of sleep, so we'll see how this goes.
You look great. You sound great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound like a
It'll be fine.
world-weary drag queen.
You do your best work when you haven't gotten much sleep and you party all
Okay.
weekend.
Yeah.
Tea.
Case in point,
That's a
this
tea.
episode. You just do your best work. Dory Alley weekend is one of my favorite weekends. It was like July of 2019. I had just broken up with my like boyfriend for 5 years and about to move away from San Francisco. So I was like full on like hoe out mode. And one of my hottest hookups ever was at Dory Alley weekend. He never talked to me again. Doesn't even acknowledge my existence when I'm in the same room. But it was a really hot memory.
I had a hot,
Beautiful.
I not hot, but I remember like one of my favorite Dory Alleys with you, and it was several years ago, and I just remember this picture seared in my mind, and it was just like so much. It felt very cool and SF, and I really loved that, and I miss that. Dory is not the same as it used to be, and I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear your like take on how Dory's changed. So
Yeah, well, have you been? Have you been, Cody?
yeah, years ago, but yeah, I was quite feral when I went. So a lot of holes and goals. Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time.
Well, I mean, we gave the guest away. The guest is Cody Seiya.
Cody,
Yay, welcome.
Hi.
Usually also in this part of the intro is where we call out our new Patreon subscribers, but we have none this week. So let's just get that out of
womp
the way.
womp.
I know. People have gotten sick and tired of our Patreon call outs, but if you're not a subscriber, you should still subscribe and help an amateur podcast and get basically nothing. But we did an episode for you last week, and it's just like the real tea, the real stuff that we're too embarrassed to mention on this podcast. So go subscribe and you can listen to that, and we'll have many more. But let's get to our guest. Hi, Cody.
Hi, thank you. Should I do an intro or?
Yeah.
Yes, you
introduce yourself
should.
and be
However you want
what
to
are
talk
known
about it.
For? Yeah, what are you
Sure.
known for?
Hi, I'm Cody Seiya, adult entertainer, illustrator, artist, friend, internet
Now I get to
boyfriend.
call you my friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will also call out because before we pressed record, I was explaining to Cody how Doncha's a little bit going to be a fangirl moment because Doncha's not only a big fan of your content, but also your art.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm a
Oh my
longtime
God.
stalker. I mean, fan, and I think you like lived in San Francisco for a while, and I saw you around, and I remember like keeping an eye out for you, and then later down the line, all of a sudden, I just started seeing you on the internet. I was like, hey, it just felt like this like connection, even though I didn't really know you, and even my drag daughter gave me some of your artwork. And
No way.
yeah, she just gave it to me like just
What?
a couple months ago, and I don't know.
That's
I just thought it
incredible.
was kind of like in the stars that we're talking today.
Yeah. Who's your drag daughter?
Imelda Glucose. Shout out to her for like thinking of me.
Great
And it's not
name.
like I. It's strange because I don't talk about you to her, but I think she just knew that I would
Yeah,
love your work.
that's really sweet. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I mean,
three
that was so
pieces
nice. Thank
of
you.
them.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so
I'm
so
so honored.
yeah, we're here to support queer art, your queer art, and this is a podcast episode, but also an extended meet and greet for Donsha.
Perfect.
I mean, you started in art school then, so like, what was that transition? Like, you had to make all this beautiful art, but what
Yeah.
happened? Or not what
You
happened?
know,
Like, what was the path?
there were so many factors going into that. Like, I graduated in May 2020, height of COVID, shit's going down. I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills. And so I was like, well, why not show Hole on the internet? And like, I have friends that have been doing porn for years, and I don't know, I never really imagined myself in the space. And so it felt really empowering and cool to like kind of set my own space and like yeah, share myself.
Was it something that you had like always fantasized about? Like, hey, I don't, or maybe like you had a taboo against it and you're like thought of like, if I did it though, it would be really hot. What gave you, like, what was the instigator that made you feel like, I'm ready to do this. Let's just try it.
You know, sometimes I would record my hookups with friends or like, oh yeah, let's like play it back because it was so fun. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of turned into like, well, I guess this is how I'm going to pay the bills. So it started off as like a necessity to like live in a way. And then from there, it like transformed into more of a mission statement in a way where it's like, okay, cool. Like I feel empowered and people have been reaching out to me and saying that they're empowered too by like watching my videos and finding their confidence and sexuality by seeing me. So yeah,
Yeah, because I know there's like this long history of not seeing a lot of Asian Americans in porn. I still remember it was a big deal when Brandon Lee became a big deal in the industry,
yeah,
and and I think there's a difference between Asian porn and Asian American porn, and I think there was a lot of cultural stigma to like show your face. And so I think that's changed a lot. Like, have you seen a lot of that change, like just in the time that you've been doing porn? Because it sounds like you came into it right when studio porn was starting to give way to OnlyFans. And so I'm
yeah.
sure you've seen some difference.
I think so. I feel like there's a lot more. I don't know. I feel like folks are more open to casting people of color, and I feel like there's a lot more like positive changes, and things aren't just. I don't know. I feel like for so long it was so. I don't know. It's hard to say, but like studios were so averse to
Racist?
like. Yeah, yeah. You
Racist!
know
You
what?
can say
You're
that.
right.
You
Let's
can
just
You can
say
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 it.
it. Let's
Studios
just
were
say it.
extremely racist, and
You
they
don't have to
only
say
wanted
which
to like.
studio, but yeah, you gotta get that bag.
Yeah,
But
yeah, just like
studios were
in
racist.
general, most studios pretty racist. And you know, comments from like the viewers would be like, "Oh, we want your like old stuff, or we want what you know what the site used to be,"
I love
and
how
in so
coded
many
that is, your
words.
old
Yeah,
stuff.
right, exactly. Where it's like, "Oh no, you just want like bland white guys, right?" But yeah, no, I've seen like a change come which is pretty cool. And like it's, I feel like in a way it's also like opened the floodgates in a way where it's like it's allowed other people to like they see me and they're like, oh, I can do that too, and have started entering the industry.
I know that you talk a lot about representation and like you have this name, Cody Seiya. It's based on your original name, but I've noticed that it is kind of a Japanese name. I know that
Yeah,
you're Chinese Jewish, right? Is that
correct.
what like led you to go for Seiya?
Yeah, how'd you choose your name?
Yeah. In other words,
Um,
how'd you choose that name?
yeah, it's honestly not as deep as people think. Because it's a Saint Seiya reference. It's an anime reference.
I figured as
which is
much.
most of my life. Yeah, I'm just like a total dork, and I love Saint Seiya, and also
it's it's okay to
Seiya's
be a
like,
weeb.
yeah, big time weeb. So I just thought it was cool, and also like it's interesting being like mixed race because you're like kind of racially ambiguous in a way, where people are like, "Oh, I know you're Asian, but like what kind?"
Of
And I've
course,
heard that
the
question
age-old
so many
question.
times. Yeah.
I remember that scene in Drag Race where Yahua Hamasaki, someone
Hmm.
asked her, "Well, aren't you Chinese?" And her response is, "Aren't you a man in a dress?" And it's just like, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, Rosalind Chow from Joy Luck Club, she has played Keiko O'Brien on Star Trek, and she has advocated like the people on The Bear, they're not Italian. Let people act. Let people do what they want.
Yeah.
It's more opportunities for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, whatever. It's a persona.
I'm actually surprised that you went with a name that is, basically part of your regular name, and
Hmm.
instead of like a full-on new name, unless it isn't. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm kind of simple. So if someone were to call me another name, I would not respond at all. So I'm like, oh, I'll at least keep my like real first name, you know?
I mean, using that convention, if we used like our first name, if our Cody Seiya format port name,
Hmm.
based on your first name and then a show that you like or something that you like, don't you? What would yours be?
Oh God, would
Ooh.
would I just be like? Would I be Chris the boyfriend?
And
Right
how does
now,
it work?
I'm Chris the boyfriend, but the
I'm
person
like,
without the boyfriend.
like meet me and my prestige TV ass. Be like, bow Mad Men. Well, maybe. Or like,
Huh?
or like bow pose. Oh, bow pose would work if the
That,
pose
About
is just
House of
like ass
Cards.
up. I
yeah,
guess.
it's kind of cunty. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a serve.
It's a serve pose.
Yeah.
So I mean, another thing we're always like been curious about is like how it all works for for an adult performer
Mm.
like you. Like, what does your typical day look like? I mean, are you doing this full time? And then like, what does your typical day look like?
Yeah, I mean, it is the full time, which I feel very like grateful for. I wake up, make my coffee, answer 20, 30 messages in the morning, and then I'll go record with other performers, and then go home, edit, and then like, I don't know, that's the thing too, is like it's very different depending on the
Yeah.
week or where I am. Some weeks I'm like, okay, I'm filming 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row, film the content, edit it, post it, and then also I have like a content calendar, just to like keep track of everything. There's a lot more work than people realize,
It's
where
so
it's
much. I
like
didn't
I'm wearing
realize
a
you
lot.
edited
Yeah,
it yourself.
it feels like you
Yeah,
need an
That is a lot
assistant.
of work.
yeah. Well, thankfully I have my partner, and he has been an angel, and like he's just been helping me with like a lot of the business stuff because I'm not as business minded. But yeah, it really does take a team to like make this happen. Yeah, where I'm like coordinating like who I'm shooting with, reaching out to people to like film, finding locations, things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
You're your own production studio.
in a way, yeah.
yeah, you have to like find the talent, make the deals, be the production coordinator, be the producer,
Hmm.
and then be the editor and be like the social
Your
media
own
marketing
marketing.
person.
Yeah, it is. It's wild. It's a lot. And a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, you're just getting paid to be hot." And I'm like, "No, I'm
It's a lot of
doing
work to create
so
the
much more,
content.
babe." Like, yeah, thousand
It's
percent
not
that.
easy being hot. I know that we were supposed to like record last month, and you weren't able to, and
Yeah.
you said you were sick, and I wasn't disappointed. But the first thing that came to my mind, and I said to Bao,
Mm.
was like, "Oh my God, hot people get sick too. I feel so good."
Yes. Oh my God. Do you want to hear a story? I'll
What
keep it. I'll.
happened?
Reach out. Go,
Okay.
go as long as you want, honestly.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I just don't want anyone else to suffer. So I took a doxycycline pill. I take doxypap. So for those uninformed, it's you you take doxycycline after you have a hookup, and it'll clear any STIs. So what happened to me was that I got off a plane, took my doxycycline before bed, and I was like, "Oh, I'm
You're
too
not supposed to lie
tired."
down for 30 minutes.
Really?
That part, that
I
part.
I
My pharmacist
just
did not tell me
started.
that.
I just started
Yeah.
last week, and I heard about this 30-minute thing. Side effect I didn't know about. Some of the
Yep.
nastiest gas for the next few days.
Yeah. So
So
make
you
sure
lay
that
down and you got the esophagolite, whatever it's called.
yeah, so essentially the doc I went to bed, didn't drink enough water, didn't have food.
Oh,
The doxycycline sat in my lower esophagus and corroded the lining, and it took like 2 months to heal properly.
Oh.
so
Yeah.
PSA to everyone listening:
Yeah.
wait at least an hour. Don't go to sleep. Stand up, watch TV, drink lots of
Yeah.
water.
Can
Yeah.
you sit up? Can you sit? Or do you
Yeah,
have to
as
like
long as you're
be
not
standing
flat
upright?
and it just
Yeah, as long as you're
flows
not
back
like
up.
laying down and like just
Yeah.
post it up.
Is
Yeah.
it because the pill has like so much stuff in it? Like so much active ingredient in it? Like if it sits somewhere in your body, it can just like tear away at the stuff?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
And I
like a
think it,
highly corrosive formula.
yeah, and I think it just activates your doctors. Somebody tell us. I think it activates like all of like your stomach acids to go crazy, and it just bubbles up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe
so
that should be our
sucked.
next guest. Oh, I'm so sorry that you were one going through that. Poor thing.
Thank you. I'm really thankful to be on the other side of it. Totally affected work and life, and yeah, it was awful.
So and it's not like you can like file a workers comp file a workers comp
Exactly.
complaint to HR. You're just like, I guess gotta deal with this. At least I gotta deal with this issue, and I guess I don't have an STI.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
also
I'm
your
like,
own
well,
HR.
exactly that. Where I'm like, oh well, shit. I guess
Calling in
test
sick.
cleared, but yeah.
And then when you like set up these scenes, they're also work. But
Mm-hmm.
is there a deeper part of you that really just enjoys it? Do you, when you're in this scene, be like, I'm born to do this? Like, how much of it feels like work? How much feels like purpose?
Ooh. I mean, I always try and find fun whatever with whatever I'm doing. But for the most part, like I don't know. That's the thing is like I try and like have intimate connections with everyone that I film with, and like I that's what I want to show in my videos, like intimacy, because I feel like so much studio porn is just so choreographed and it feels very disconnected. It's not authentic, if that makes sense. And so like whenever I film with people, I like try and message them a few days before, try to get to know them, what they like, what they don't like. Yeah, I do my best to just like keep things as genuine and authentic as possible.
I think what I like about certain porns is or what I don't like about certain porns is how transactional it can look. And
Absolutely.
And I think that for even just for myself, like I've joked about how with Bao, I went on this one, my first gay cruise, and I just found the
Oh.
transactionality of it just wasn't for me. So I was sitting at my at an orgy playing Wordle next to like two guys fucking me next to each other. I'm
Love
like,
that.
yeah, this is cool. This
Love
is
that
for
for
me.
you. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a time and place for that transactional.
Yeah,
Like, there's a mood. What's rare in porn is like just a hot makeout session.
The
Sometimes it's just,
passion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
a little bit of
And like
cuddling. You know?
that's what I'm into. And so like
Yes.
that's what I try and show in my videos. And that's the thing too,
You
is like
definitely see
so
that.
much of our sexual education comes from porn because no one teaches us how to have sex. Yeah, I'm like, okay, well, at least I'm like doing my best to like try and start a conversation with people and like show them what and how sex should be. Because it should be fun. I don't know. I see these clips where people are like pounding it out, and I'm like, is anyone actually enjoying this? Like, this looks
Yeah.
so mechanical.
Yeah.
It looks so-
Intimacy is
yeah.
our kink. Intimacy is our kink.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Intimacy
And I
and
feel
feeling
like,
emotionally safe while fucking.
yeah,
Gets me
1000%.
off.
It's
And
like
so
that
much of that
one.
is missing.
It's like that one Pornhub star who just says nice things to you on screen, and that's it.
Yeah. Maybe that's my next niche. I should just be like, you did a really good job today. I'm so proud of you. Thank
Your
you.
boss doesn't know what you're worth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll watch that.
exactly.
I'm gonna give
I
you a
will watch
blowjob. Like,
that.
Right.
Especially from it's like we just what we need is an Asian mother to do that. That'll be our kink.
Wow.
that could be an OnlyFans, like a non-sexual OnlyFans, for sure.
Yeah. Just ASMR,
Sick.
Chinese mom or Asian mom, just as like
I'm
giving you
proud of
gratitude. Yeah.
so I'm proud of your art degree.
Whoa.
Yeah, I tell all my friends I'm proud that you're a communications major, and that their doctor friends are shit. Well, speaking of family, does your family know that this is your line of work, or do they don't, or they not?
They do not. Or, which is fine.
Is it like a
Yeah, I don't
struggle?
know. A little bit, just because, like, I don't know, my mom, like, it's hard keeping a relationship because she doesn't know what I'm doing. And I do want to connect with her, but at the same time, she's, like, trying to, I don't know. I just feel like I would really, really disappoint her and also just kind of, like, really break her brain with what I'm
Yeah.
doing. And, yeah. So,
Is your
because
mom
she's from
Chinese
Hong
or
Kong.
oh, she's
Yeah.
Chinese? Okay.
Yeah, like first generation, and so very much like caught up in just
In
like the
that
culture and
upbringing.
like her. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Have you ever heard you know who Asa Akira is?
That name is
She's
so
a
familiar.
straight porn star. She calls herself the queen of anal. I'm like, you can't do that in the world of gay porn. But anyway,
Yeah,
she calls
like
herself the
babe.
queen of anal. One of the most famous straight porn stars, or straight quote unquote. Like what's straight really? But more for that audience. And she was on a podcast talking about her mom like knows everything that she does, doesn't want to hear
Wow.
about it.
Yeah, she
but
doesn't want to know details, but she is happy that she's making money.
yeah,
Okay.
but we'll reap the benefits. We'll take the paycheck.
Literally
We'll take the all
capitalism,
sorts of
baby.
shit.
That's what it comes down to.
Like, no pun intended, but capitalism breeds acceptance.
And so she like knows I make some money, and she's like, "Okay, good for you."
What does she? What does she think your LinkedIn says?
I don't know. And I hope she never finds out. Yeah, I'm just like, you know what? As long as she stays off Twitter, I'm fine. It's cool. I don't think she's a Twitter girly, anyways. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's like the benefit, like in a similar stance, like the immigrant mother, my immigrant mother, she doesn't know the internet or anything. And, I'm not even really out to her. She doesn't know what I do. And it's not like I do anything wild. She just doesn't know what I do.
Though
'cause she
she's
doesn't get
helped
it.
you, though she's helped you build drag dresses.
Yeah, she
oh, that's so
understands.
sweet.
She understands that I do drag. Or rather, like dressing up as a woman for entertainment. But I don't think she understands that I am queer. But I don't know what she like. Just her mindset, her world doesn't think in that way. But so I think I've just gotten to a point where she doesn't ask about what I do because she doesn't understand it, and so I don't really have this need or a huge struggle about it anymore. I think I used to, but I think I was just too deep in the Harvey Milk. You must come out to your family, to everyone. Like, maybe that's a white thing. That's an old American white thing. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Back to porn, obviously.
Always. The internet is for porn. Avenue Q. Had to.
So I know, like, say, some of your like OnlyFans content is like sort of just like you and this guy, but you also do kind of like the traditional style in a sense, like story based narratives.
Yeah.
What would you say is the best character in a narrative porn that you've played? What did you have the most fun with?
Oh my God. So I did a studio shoot recently with Nextdoor Studios, which was kind of cool because I don't know if they've had other Asians perform for them before,
I feel like
but
Next Door has a lot more like people of color than I don't know the average studio.
that they do for sure, which is really exciting to see. And I'm like, hell yeah. And they don't make it like a big to do either.
It's not under the tag interracial porn.
Exactly. Exactly. They're like, oh yeah, this person is attractive, and so yeah. Yeah, so I filmed with them in May, I think it was. Anyways, I was playing a ranch hand, and so I'm like a city
Just that
slicker
name.
who's
Just
yeah,
that
I'm a
name.
ranch hand, just coming in for the summer and working for this guy.
Look at you
And
Oh,
acting.
nice. Okay,
thank
acting.
you,
Give
thank
her the
you.
BAFTA. Give her the Oscar.
Right? I know. I'm like, actually, guys, I'm a thespian. Uh, just kidding.
He's in the theater.
Yeah.
Well, you won many Gavian awards, right?
Sadly, I was nominated but did not win any
A
because,
nomination is something.
Don't ya?
yeah,
It's worth
yeah.
something. Wait, not
I'm a bad
what category
fan.
was it?
No, you're good. No, I'll take the nominations. I mean, just the fact that I was like up there was like still really empowering and cool. I was like, oh shit, yeah, we do
How does
belong
one
up
get
there.
nominated? How does one get nominated for a Gavian?
Um,
Do you have to submit yourself, or do the studios submit you?
this
Like,
the
is it like the
studio submit.
Oscars?
It's like the
Okay.
Oscars. But also I'm pretty sure everything is just like paid off anyways.
Just like
So
the Oscars.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So whoever has the most money, that's who wins.
Yeah.
But
I thought it
still
was gonna
good
be
for
like the
you.
people's. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a People's Choice Awards. So I'm like, let's light up the Asian community online and get you.
Oh my god, I
the win.
wish. That
We'll
would
back
be
you.
iconic. Thank you. Thank you. That would be iconic. I mean, I wish. But
But okay, about the ranch hand.
yes. So, I it was kind of cool because the director like wrote the script and he kind of like played it up to be very he wrote it to sound like me essentially. And so I don't know, it was just like kind of fun to like play that role and just like sort of be myself or play myself. Just
Is
be like,
there
"Oh yeah, like I don't know,
is
where I'm like
there
playing dumb on the ranch and I'm like, "Oh, like how do I do this? Can you come
I'm
over
just a
and help me?"
cowboy.
Yeah, like I'm just a cowboy. Like, help me.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Like, are you sent a script and then like, is everything else choreographed?
Or do you have to like
Or do you guys like
or do you have to
improv
like
more?
yeah.
It depends on the studio and the production. So sometimes, like for features, it's like very plot focused, and you have to study the script and get your lines right. And if you don't, that's fine, whatever. But
Do you
yeah,
have to like redo like what's like the most number of redos of takes or scenes, whether it be like lines or action? Like we're like, nope, do it over, do it over.
uh, this was all like B-roll, so just like establishing shots. But I think uh, I was kind of sleepy, and it was like towards the end of the day, so the other model was just as exhausted, and so we kept flubbing
Over
our
it.
lines. Yeah, and so I think we had to like keep going over. Like I think we did the shot like 4 times, and the director was like, "Just say whatever at this point. Like just
This is
we're
rather
good."
day.
Yeah.
So then on the flip side, what is the worst role that you had to play? Or that maybe you turned down because it was just like, no,
Oh
don't pigeonhole me that way.
gosh. With studios, I feel like there's been a few where I'm just like, you guys aren't meeting like the compensation isn't there for the amount of work that I'm going to put through, and also like you're putting me in like a very submissive bottom role, and I like to be a little bit more active and just kind of subvert expectations, if you
Yes.
will. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, let me ask you what you think about that. That is a because that's the thing we've talked about. We had
Oh,
Oh,
Toolboy.
Shed.
Toolboy,
Toolboy.
boy
Yes,
something.
he's so sweet. Zed is incredible.
Oh yeah,
I filmed with him a
you.
couple weeks ago,
Yeah, I saw
actually.
that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
you guys did
saw
this like
like
premiere thing.
some like previews and like he's a
Yeah.
friend of ours. He does flag in here. I love him. He's so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
brilliant, sexy. Yeah.
So
And then
smart.
very smart. But one thing he did bring up in the not but like one thing that really like stuck out to me that he brought up when he was on the podcast was about like reclaiming your Asian bottom pride.
Yeah.
And
1000% that.
and then there's like this nuance of just like if you're a Asian bottom performer that you're like there is a category that you may be put in or like that people are going to put you in, and what if you just really enjoyed it right? What if you just really enjoyed it? And even though people have, it feeds a stereotype, it is a radical act to still embrace that you enjoy it and a pride. How do you discern then when you're giving these roles of, or like when you're planning out creatively a scene of when it's going to be a bottom enjoying being a bottom and like, no, that could be a stereotype that is getting in like problematic territory.
Like, yeah, what's that balancing act that you like deal with?
Yeah. I make sure to like maintain my own sense of self and like I'm like, okay, is this comfortable for me? Is this true to who I am? And like, does this feel, I don't know, because I'm not extremely subservient, nor am I like submissive or yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I when I bottom, like off camera, I'm more of an active role. I'm making sure that I'm getting just as much pleasure as my partner. And so that's what I try and bring into a studio or filming setting too, is like, yeah, like everyone should be enjoying this and everyone should be having fun.
Yeah.
And
Verse first. Verse first.
yeah, 1000% that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Bao here, he's like getting into his top era, so
I
after
know.
all this
yeah.
like self
Yeah.
bottom shame. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of self
How,
bottom shame for years.
how did you get to that journey or like what brought you to that? That's awesome.
No, it's just that I just thought like it wasn't for me. Like I know I'm good at being a bottom, and being a top
Yeah.
seems like to be like to such a high standard to be a good top that I'm like not even gonna try it. Let's just own this
Yeah.
thing that I'm good at. Until someone recently like close to me like challenged me. I was like, do you say you only bottom because you truly only bottom and that's deep down what you only want to do, or do you think that you might suck at topping? And that like I was speechless. And I realized like,
Wow, they really broke your brain with that, huh?
and it broke my brain with that. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, and why do you think that? I'm like, oh yeah, because I'm Asian. People don't want to talk. Like, you know, I started thinking about it. It started being these things like, oh, because I'm Asian, no one wants me to be the top.
It's so funny
So let's
'cause,
like play. Let's just play with the system here. Give the people what they want. I also just enjoy being a bottom for sure, but like let's
Yeah.
just work. This is, and then I realized like you can go through life thinking like it's instinctually deep down who I am, and being so self-aware but not even realizing like how much like the images that you see in porn really like deep down ingrain something in you. And then
Yeah.
once someone told me that like, and then I was intimate with them and like it just unleashed a different part of my humanity, my energy that I didn't know was there. It was primal. And I was like, oh my God, that was all mental. You know, that was all
It's
mental.
all,
And
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's what we've been taught in some ways.
Absolutely. Like it's what we're shown over and over and over, not even in porn, but also in like movies and TV where it's like Asian men are just so emasculated and seen as like effeminate or, you know, just like very passive. And so, yeah, I feel like I too suffered from that for so long where I just denied myself even the possibility of ever being a top, which is
I think
wild.
I think I leaned
Yeah.
into a little bit that for a while too, and some of it partly was because I think when I was younger, I just kept getting with a lot of bad bottoms, so I just bottomed out of ease. But then I started switching to become a verse top because, as many people now know, I don't want to deal with hemorrhoids anymore.
Yeah.
The age has gotten to me, so I was like, yeah, I'm a verse top now.
Oh yeah, occupational hazard. Also, I'm like, I can only play Wordle or Sudoku for so long on the toilet before I'm getting bored. Like, I am tired of fucking douching. Please.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All this work.
Well, it's funny you said that because, okay, rather than like, you're talking about douching, preparation, like, you are half, you're Asian. Do you have lactose intolerance? How do you prepare for a scene? What do you eat? What is your dietary restrictions on work weeks?
Yeah. Wow. You know, I keep it pretty chill. Like, I don't drink, so that helps a lot. And then also I take Metamucil.
In
Yeah.
Fiber.
Yeah, we are fiber stands in this house. And then also, like if I know I'm going to be bottoming the next day, I'm like, okay, like I'm not going to have anything fried. I'm not going to have any like heavy meats. Maybe a nice salad or something.
It's very different. Uh, Advice from our previous guest, John Kung, is like, bottom's right, just shit in their dick.
That sends me to such a dark place. Like, I don't know. I feel like I am so anal about anal, where I'm like, I need to be clean. I need to know.
Yes.
Otherwise, like, I don't have the confidence. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna lay here then. Otherwise, if I know and I feel like everything's good, tank is empty, I'm like, all right, it's about to be a rodeo show up in here. Like, I'm just gonna go buck wild. So,
Yeah, you want the confidence. You want to remove any mental barrier from
mm-hmm.
you feeling that. But I also feel like
That part.
when I came, I mean, I'm older probably. Like when I first came out, like this douching thing was not like as much of a thing, and people just like lived life on the edge, and you just like played roulette a little bit, you know.
Right.
And sometimes you were clean, and sometimes you weren't, but it was part
Yeah.
of it. And now I feel like with the internet, with Reddit threads, everyone, and with porn, I think like the douching has been more of like that is the bare minimum requirement.
Yeah.
No pun intended, but
Yeah, the bareback minimum requirement.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I start my night. Where I'm like, if I'm gonna turn up to the club, I will douche, and I might even like pre-lube a little bit just in case.
Oh wow!
What a
I wish I had it
tip.
together to do it like that. I'm usually like,
Yeah,
I mean, I have enough trouble just convincing my friends not to do Korean barbecue before going out to the club. But in LA,
that is
people just want to go to.
unhinged.
Well, it's unhinged. First of all, you come in,
Yeah,
your jacket smells like onions.
right. And like delicious, but also, come on, guys.
Some of you are not bottoming tonight, and it shows. You know?
Yeah, maybe that's a
Yeah.
kink. That little cow bee smell. People love it.
Yeah.
The meat sweats.
Yeah, you can smell the top energy off of them. You're just like, oh, Kelby? Yeah, he's a top.
Kalbi,
Yep.
that's top energy for sure.
Yeah, that's how you identify the tops. The ones that, not that they don't care, but they're just they live free. They live free.
Yeah, we should all be able to live that liberated. Well, speaking of kalbi and Korean barbecue, let's do a smooth transition to talking about your racial identity.
Yes, absolutely.
No, I mean, a question that we used to ask guests all the time is like whether they identified with with the term Gaysian, or if they're a gay Asian or queer Asian. Do you identify with that term?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know I'm mixed, but like people just perceive me as Asian. And so like, as an indicator, like some person would walk, describe me like, oh, that Asian guy. Or like in high school, I was referred to as, because there were two Codys, I was Asian Cody.
Asian Cody.
Yeah. To my high school's defense, they did call the other Cody White Cody. So at least there's that. But yeah, no, I very much identify as a Gaysian.
When did you first feel like you were a Gaysian?
Damn. I think, when I was like a kid and watching Dragon Ball and like watching the guys get all beat up and like their shirts ripped off, I'm like, whoa, why do I feel these like tingly sensations?
Things were
So
stacked.
A weeb Gaysian. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I think just like way from a very young age, it was very clear.
I love that your moment was through anime. So that's where you came to be through a Dragon Ball.
I think so, and it's like finding like safety in that in a way where it's like, oh yeah, like I can see these characters and like project my feelings and like desires upon them, and so yeah, and like being more into Sailor Moon and like relating to that more than yeah.
Sailor Moon and Hello Kitty are probably my Gaysian awakenings. Sailor Moon is so good.
Truly.
So then, like, you feel Gaysian, and I know that you talk about your representation, but what about the content that you do with other, Gaysians or Asians. Is there something that you feel different about doing like scenes with other Asian folks? Is it easier, harder? Do you feel any sort of way about it?
I enjoy it. I think it's fun. It did take me a while though, I will say, just because I was again so conditioned to like being into white guys. Just because
Yeah.
like that is what is fed to us and like that is the quote unquote norm. Um yeah, it took a lot of unlearning to like erase the like white standard and be like, oh no, like everyone's sexy. I don't know. Like for me, I had issues too with I think it was a lot of just like self-loathing.
Yeah.
And so
Like
I would
already
not
into starting your career in this, or like even
the,
before?
before, yeah, like before the career, like I was very self-loathing and like I wouldn't be into other Asians because I also like did not find myself attractive. And so, you know, as time goes on and I become more comfortable and confident in myself and my identity, then I was like, oh yeah, like Asian guys are sexy. I'm sexy.
We are all sexy, and we are all
We're
sexual
all sexy.
beings.
Exactly. And like we should not be denied that. So,
Yeah. And when you look at like in from when you began this career to today, what and you see the feedback to your videos and your content and to other kind of like this community of Asian performers in kind of gay porn. What does that tell you about how like desire? This is a big question. Sorry,
yeah, go
follow
for
me here
it.
and like feel free to break it down. Like, do you feel like how people desire Asian men is changing?
I think so. I think that people are finally catching up and realizing that like Asian men are sexy, that we're just like any, just like any other guy or person, that they're into. I don't know.
Like
I think it's a lot of, yeah, there's a lot of factors that have gone into that, but
you've been doing this since like about 2020, and just those 4 years, like, have you seen like like not just the industry but your engagement change like with it? Like, yes, you are sexy, we are sexy, but what are the numbers showing that, or like the viewership? Have you seen anything change in that way too?
um, yes and no, where it's like, uh, people will recognize me and like there's good engagement and people may leave like people leave really positive comments and respond well to the content that I'm putting out. Doesn't always necessarily mean that it translates to dollar signs, which is a bummer, but oh well. Um, but it is nice knowing that people like do watch the content and it kind of like broadens their horizons and they're like, oh yeah, Asian guys are sexy. And like,
Yeah.
or on the other side of that too, I've had a ton of Asian subscribers, people who interact with my content, reach out. They're like, hey, I just wanted to thank you for like putting yourself out there and like it's helped me come to terms with my sexuality, my identity, and also feeling confident in myself. And so,
Was that a surprise to you in the beginning? Like for instance, when I started doing drag, I did drag sort of as a political and active thing. Then it turned into the entertainment, and I didn't think I was doing very good. And then, like about 5, 6, 7, 8 years into it, because I started like 15 years ago or something, people would start to come up to me and start saying, "Ah, I remember seeing you 10 years ago, and it made me feel like I could be like open and interesting and share things and do those things." Like, I didn't think that was going to happen when I first started doing it. Were there any surprises that you've had, like when you from when you started to like now, about the way people respond to you?
yeah. Um, Also, I'm going to grab a charger really quick for my laptop. I'm so sorry. I'm like so
No.
stressed out
Oh,
by
please
this.
do it. Please do it.
But
I'm gonna get a
while I
job.
do that,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna refill. Let's go hang out in New York sometime. Wait,
Yeah,
you're in
come
New York,
through. Oh
right?
my God.
Yeah.
It'll
Yes.
be fun.
Yeah, there's great. Oh my God. Bubble Tea is an incredible queer
I
Asian
still
dance
haven't
party.
been. I still haven't been.
It's
I know. I've been wanting to
everything.
go to it.
Bao, do you go to Q&A?
I do go to Q&A, so yeah, I know San
Yes,
Francisco.
okay.
Oh,
And then is are there Asian is Shangri-La still a thing in San Francisco?
No, not anymore. That lots has
Okay.
changed in San Francisco. The vibe from when you were here, I would call it, like,
Yeah.
at least for me, the 2010s were kind of like this golden age of queer everything. Like, we're coming out of the activism, coming into this openness. Everything was happening.
Hmm.
Shangri-La eventually moved on. They've rebranded and do something at Bow
Okay.
called Unique. But it's just different. Dragon is no longer.
Okay.
And there is a queer Asian event called Rise. It's different.
Cool.
It's definitely for the younger folks. Lots of
Hmm.
K-pop, very cute. Shout out to Cutie Nightlife. But it's just
Hey.
yeah, the city has changed a lot since you were here. That
Okay.
2013 ish time. That's
that's
when
a
I
fun
around
time.
the time I met Bao, and
Mm.
we did everything.
We
Everything
partied
Gaysian,
so
everything not
much.
Gaysian.
Yeah.
Bao did drag. Bao
No
did.
way.
He
That was
competed
fun.
in a pageant. That's how we kind of got to know each other. We both were competing in a pageant together.
I love the origin story.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Cody would be a great Mr. Gappa, honestly.
Oh my God, yes. Or any kappa, mixed kappa.
Miss, Mi-
It's like
I'll t
that's some of the changes. At the time when we competed, there was a
Hmm.
Mister and a Miss Kappa. You know, different
Oh.
times. Now you just compete as anything, and then you choose your title at the end. Top two:
oh,
Mister
that's
Kappa,
fun.
Miss Kappa, Mix Kappa, whatever you want.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I think, and I appreciate that our community can grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that like there's a space now, and like especially particularly these big cities where
Hmm.
Asian people can just be thriving and out there and loud. And
Yeah.
Donja pulled up like an interview you once did where you talked about like not making waves, like part of like a cultural upbringing is like not
Hmm.
standing out. And actually, Donja, his parents were actually used to
Yeah,
tell you the same thing, right?
yeah, just like, oh, not necessarily just fit in, but it's like don't make a scene, and
Hmm.
just get your work done, do good, don't be crazy, and this wasn't like something that I tried to fight against, but I was loud and weird and kooky and started making dresses out of plastic bags, doing drag. I just wanted to have fun. And there
Yeah.
was so much of media and my parents telling me and us just, get a good job. That's it. Just get a
Hmm.
good job. Be quiet.
That, yeah. Sounds like my mom. We're just very much just like, be quiet. You can be seen, but not heard. Like, don't make a scene and just like try and fit in. And like, babe,
I
we're in
like,
Orange County. I don't think that's possible.
I
Like,
think,
we're, like in the sea of white people. Uh,
yeah.
it's not going to be that easy.
I feel like
Yeah,
there's
you were in
that,
that part of Orange County because my
I
parents are
think,
in the Asian part of Orange County. But yeah, there's like that part of Orange County.
Yeah, I'm in that capital, that part,
that.
that
But,
part.
but how did you marry that? Just like that upbringing and what's been drilled into you into like being comfortable in your own skin in such a public way like this,
Mm,
and making the waves and breaking. Like, I mean, don't mean to put you on the spot, but like breaking barriers for
thank
people like
you.
us.
Thank you for saying that.
it may not have been your intent, but that's what
The impact.
we're seeing. Yeah, that's the impact.
Yeah, shit. Well, thank you for recognizing that and seeing that. I have trouble like seeing it in myself sometimes. But also that kind of like feeds into just like I'm just doing me. I'm just doing what I want to do and what feels right for me. And also like I used the phrase earlier, but like unlearning, where it's like we are instilled with so many of these like traditions and cultural norms and societal norms that we don't we exist outside of those And so I just find it like, yeah, I'm like, why should I adhere to these bullshit terms that like I don't agree with and like they serve no purpose besides like keeping older generations comfortable, I guess, and like, yeah, complacent with old trains of thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that battle of keeping our parents happy, but also keeping
Hmm.
ourselves happy too.
Right. And like, breakthrough with my therapist, I'm never going to make my mom happy. So,
Yes,
Abso-fucking-lutely.
I
yeah.
think
Abso-fucking-lutely.
I think I've been learning that lately. Like, I don't have to like my parents in that way, and I don't have to make them happy every day.
Yeah,
Who makes their parents happy all the
exactly.
time?
They're always
You
going to
know
find
what?
something to like pick you apart for. And like, just make yourself happy.
It's that Cantonese mother vibe. They'll never say something nice. They will
Yeah.
never.
Literally, she's always just like, she sees me, she's like, I'm a gaucho. I'm like,
Love.
okay.
Yes.
Wait, what does that mean for a Vietnamese
Like,
person?
It's like,
what's
what's
wrong
the
with
more of
you?
a yeah. Like you can't be doing that. Like what are you doing
Yeah.
wrong? It's
Uh,
it's one of my favorite phrases.
Yeah, it's,
I think
yeah.
it's triggering.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like that or mafan y'all. Like she would always that's like troublemaker or whatever. She would always yell that at me and I'm like, well, yeah, that's me. What you gonna do, love?
Love the Cantonese
Yeah.
connection. You're my mother right now.
Thank you.
I know. I feel like no Asian mothers are ever happy. It's, like I can show up, and my mom lives in Vietnam now, but
Mm.
she was like, "You got too fat," or it could be like, "You got really
Eat
skinny,
more.
but now you look old." She's like, "I can never win with you. I can never win with
Yeah.
you, mom."
I made an ultimatum to my mom that when she calls me, because that before she starts complaining, which is all that she does, she has to say one nice thing about me or ask me how I'm doing. I failed. It hasn't
you gave it
happened.
up.
It has not happened.
Wow.
I said, I told
Why
her
do you
like
do this
10
to
times
yourself?
now. I was like, can you just ask me how I'm doing before? Nope. Nope.
Yeah.
So it's not that I've given up on it. I was like, I've learned to accept it. It's a losing battle. She's not going to change, and I'm I can still change. I can still change.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, that's the thing too, is like remembering that you can change and accepting that they are not. Like uh another phrase I learned from my therapist was radical acceptance. Where it's like, yeah, I can
Yeah.
just radically accept like my mom is the way she is. And I can't change that, but I can or at least I can't control that, but I can control how I inter respond or interact with her and like yeah.
and that awkward period when you wish that she was another type of mom, and
God, the
you are bitter
fantasies that I
about
have
that.
that I have too many fantasies about that.
I know, but
Watching
that's part of
TV.
that's yeah,
Yeah.
that.
Watching those white families on TV say "I love you." Oh my God, the stigma, the kind of trauma that I grew up with, hoping that I would have like a full house family or something like that.
Literally that. Or I'm like, any of my besties in high school want to like, any families want to adopt me, please?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
like I. So for me, it's not even like Full House or TV anymore. It's when you go on social media and like Gen Z gays grew up with such like accepting parents, which they're still probably
Yeah.
gonna. They're still, we're always gonna be unpacking things from our parents, but
Oh, for
seeing
sure.
like different their stories of how like their Asian American or their Asian dad like was a P flag member, and you're like, and it ties back to my point of like sometimes that like wishing your mom or your parents were someone different and being bitter about it is part of the process
Yeah,
of finally accepting like that's who they are. They're not going to read
they're from a different
queer theory.
generation.
Yeah. Fully. Like me trying to explain to my mom, they like friends that are non-binary.
Yes.
Oh, girl.
Ooh, that was hard.
You know, my mom, when I talk about my friends, it's like she's met a lot of my friends. They're all queer. We're not like making out in front of her, but she'll ask about them. and I'll say, "Oh, he's hanging out with his husband today." And the first few times she would ask, like if like as she heard it wrong, because if it's like a language barrier, because
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
speak Chinese, I speak English to her, she speaks Chinese to me. I think she understands about half of what I say, and lately, like she's like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, yeah." She doesn't question it anymore. I think she understands, and I appreciate that. Even though if she may not understand who I am, that she gets that. Oh, his husband, her wife, like my cousin, she married a woman, and there was a point when she asked something like, "Oh yeah, which one is a version of which one's the man?" But
Mm-hmm.
more of like which one's going to dress like the man. I'm like, oh yeah, she's wearing a suit. That's it. Baby steps, baby steps.
Baby steps.
Yeah,
Like,
she does wear a suit.
don't take her
and
out of the
that's
binary
fine.
yet. Don't take her out of the binary yet. Just let's get them just situated with the same sex stuff, and then we'll move
Yeah,
slowly. We'll move
Yeah,
really
that we'll
slowly.
figure out the.
the
Yeah,
nuances.
my mom, because my sister's lesbian and she was gonna. I'm not gonna get into it, but I think later, when we came out, my mom was like had a bad time with it. Then she accepted it. Like we have Thanksgiving pho, and so my mom would just invite everyone for Thanksgiving pho and said your friend. My dad also just like says your friend. My mom and my dad are not together anymore, but I think as we entered this age of like 30s and late 30s, my mom started realizing, oh, you are not in a phase. You are actually going to marry someone of that, and you're gonna have kids, which is weird to me. Actually wasn't prepared for that, so she had like another sort of like moment, and then, like we all had like issues. We had a lot of just like drama the last year, just like with her dealing with that. But I
Yeah.
can tell she's trying. And sometimes when we're talking about like, yeah, I'll take that. That's you just
Yeah.
her trying is she's telling me like, I've been watching this show and it's really been showing me so much about your community.
What's the show?
Whoa.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what's the show? Because she lives in
Oh
Vietnam. I'm
no.
like, what show are you watching? And she's like, it's on Netflix. Elite.
Not
Wait, what is
that.
that?
Not Elite showing
Yeah,
my
I'm like,
mom. And you know what she said? Like, what I found out from watching that show about your community is that you have a lot of partners.
Which is
thanks,
not
mom.
untrue. Which is
It's
not
not,
Yeah.
it's not
untrue.
untrue. And so she's like, so, you know, it's very interesting to just, I'm like, wow, my mom thinks my life is of a, like, hot Spanish white people in a prep school.
Yeah.
But then
That's
at some point I'm like, it's so funny, but like, oh my gosh, she's trying.
Yeah. That is really sweet though, that she
trying,
is
sweet.
trying and like,
Yeah. In her way.
especially while living in Vietnam rather than in America, where so much more of the so-called progressiveness might be like thrown upon her.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Representation matters, I guess.
It really does.
Thanks, Elite.
And yeah, thanks Netflix.
I know, sure.
Yeah.
One last question before we get into like the next segment. And one thing we discuss a lot about in this podcast is just like intimacy, like intimacy between partners, men, quote unquote. How did you meet your partner, and how did you know that your partner in this world where like sexuality is a big part of your world? What made you feel like this intimacy was different, and that he was like the one
Yeah.
that could be with you now? Yeah.
I think no, I know. So we met on it's funny. We met on Scruff. It was the only time we were both on the app. Like I hadn't used it in months. He hadn't used it either in a while. So that was cute. I don't know. And we hooked up a few times and then I don't know, there's something like different about him. Where I
Yeah.
was like, oh, like he seems like very present and he seems very interested and like he knew what I did,
Yeah.
but he was still like very into like seeing me and like going on dates and I was like, okay, like this seems different and uh we may have different interests, but like we still are able to connect on so many subjects and things, which is
It's that
really cool.
complementariness. Yeah.
Exactly. And so we're able to like learn and grow from or together. And so I think, yeah, I don't know. And like despite sex being my work, we're still able to maintain our own intimacy in that like, I don't know. We just have like really beautiful sex together.
Oh, beautiful.
Was it
Yeah,
hard
I
at
don't,
first to develop that intimacy, or was it a lot more natural for y'all? Given like,
yeah,
you say that you try to bring some intimacy to your scenes too, but
right.
what's that separation like with it?
I think a lot of it comes down to like compartmentalization, where yeah, I'm able to like compartmentalize and be like, okay, like in this moment, I'm going to enjoy this person, and uh, yeah, just like be present with them and like focus on the sensations and like make sure that they're feeling good and I'm feeling good. Whereas with my partner, it's a lot of me just, I don't know, feeling a lot of security with him and like feeling like home. You know, he feels like home to me. And it's like someone I can go back to and someone who will always be there for me. And just building upon that. Um, yeah, it, it's very special. I don't know. And like, also, we have so much like open communication. And I think that's like the biggest key to like keeping the intimacy and love alive. Yeah.
Yeah, communication's so hard. I think growing up, I always used to joke that I'm like, with especially all of my like Chinese, Cantonese friends, we have no emotions growing up. We're robots.
Yeah.
And then we started to, unlearn a lot of that. And instead of being the robot and just pushing them down, then, through years of hanging out with my crazy Vietnamese friends who love to share emotions, which made me really uncomfortable at first. No, no, like, yes, I make fun of you all the time, but I grew to really appreciate like our like just being able to comfortably express things with each other, and I think that will help for the one day that I have a boyfriend and being
It'll
intimate
happen.
and being everything. No, I love that can be intimate with all of my friends too,
Yeah.
and it's not weird like it used to be.
Yeah, I think intimacy is one of those things that is like, I mean, I think there is a huge era of like sexual liberation going on right now after like post prep, post doxy, and
Yeah.
there's still also like an epidemic of loneliness. Like there is a epidemic
Yes.
of
Very.
people thinking or finding it hard to find this like certain type of intimacy. And I think I'm in that realm right now, which is like this is a question that I'm always like curious about because like I just started dating someone in the last few months. I think the world of
Oh,
him.
congrats. Yay.
Thank you. But I also realized it's not easy. It's not like a romantic comedy. It is really just like when you're starting to date in your 30s, you find someone who's like really feels like this, that feels like home, like you say, Cody.
Yeah.
That it brings when there's a fear of losing it. There's a fear of like there's a knowledge and awareness of what the gay community is like. So like, what if one day there's a realization that there's so much that you could catastrophize about in the relationship because you know about the liberation and the openness in the gay community,
Yeah.
and also just like, but when you find the intimacy, it's so worth it, right? But it's worth it, but also it's like not that. How would I explain it? Like not that. Oh, but it's very easy for you to get in front of yourself, like for you to self-sabotage it because of like things that you've been
Absolutely.
through, particularly like when you're in your 30s. Like the guys who've ghosted you, the guys you ghosted, so you relate to it.
Yeah,
And
we're
then
part of the problem, and I
part
think
of the
that's part
problem.
of that part plays into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
I
think that
realized
helps like us empathize. Yeah.
yeah, empathize, and I realized like once I stopped like trying to play it cool and just like allowed my like a radical acceptance, Cody, is what you were talking about.
Oh,
Once
yeah.
I stopped that, like it just then he stopped it, and and then we were able to just be real, and it was just like this level of intimacy that I just like, had never had, and so like
You were able to
intimacy
stop
was,
that feedback loop. Yeah.
yeah, which I think a lot of because of just what the community is because we connect so much on apps, is that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. And it's like, we are constantly trying to show our best selves to everyone, no matter what social media we're posting or like even through text, everything is fine. Everything's good. And yeah, it's really hard to like break that down and just be honest and be like, no, like this is what's really going on. This is who I really am. And yeah, that's really important that you were able and special that you were able to connect to your partner in that way.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's one of the reasons like we do this like podcast and we want to talk to people about not just the good parts of their lives because we're not just that part.
Hmm.
And you know, I think talking about these things allows people to go, oh, it's okay to feel shitty sometimes, and it's
Yeah,
okay to grow from, and okay to learn and grow from it.
right. Like you're not going to be. It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
And that's a great segue into our next segment,
Oh
which is,
yeah.
I'm just gonna call it the Be Real segment. Like the Get Real is not gonna the Be Real segment because the app still exists, and that's
Oh
the part
right.
of every episode where each of us get real and personal about whatever's on our holes, hearts, and minds, just for a few minutes. There's no rules, just whatever's there. And Chris, I'm gonna make you go first.
Are you gonna make me go first? All
What
right.
is your Be Real?
I so I guess it's like a little multi thing. Like I just told y'all I went to Dory weekend this weekend, and I used
Oh
to have
yeah.
so much fun. And I was thinking about how much like I had fun with you, and we all went out, and I wasn't feeling it this weekend. You know, I'm not big on say public sex or BDSM. I like being out with my friends, but I think also I'm getting to this point where the partying is different, as we've talked about plenty of times. But I think there was another layer to it, and I went home with Josiah, our friend, and we were talking about into late into the night how we miss a lot of the things about our you know, like earlier days. Like, and it wasn't just about the partying. I think it was about the closeness. And, our friendships have been changing, evolving. And we both miss you, Bao, living in LA.
Oh,
For
And
context,
we
Cody Josiah
miss,
is my ex that I was with for 5 years. Yeah.
okay.
and
It's
we are
really
all
interesting.
still friends.
Yeah,
And
we're all great. I'm really good
we,
friends with Josiah.
but, our friendships have been changing and it's been hard to accept it. And we, and it led to this other aspect where I started to learn about myself. I think I'm having a harder time dealing with this relatively recent ADHD diagnosis.
Oh,
Mm,
I don't. I think it's like a
it's been like 3 years,
combination.
but yeah.
Relatively recent. I said, like I didn't. I'm 44. If I would have been diagnosed earlier, I'm not saying that it would have been better. I'm just saying, like
mm,
learning later in life. I think it's harder. I think I'm having a hard time with it. And it's not harder. I'm having a hard time with it. I think it's affecting me more than I thought. I thought
mm.
I was accepting of it earlier. Maybe it hasn't helped that I've not been working, but I just feeling so defeatist, and I think that plays into the friendships where like I don't feel like I'm connecting with friends as much anymore. I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't have like any like epiphanies about it in a sense. I'm having a hard time with it. I don't know what to do next. I don't know how to get closer to some friends, and it makes me long for a past time, and I don't want to live in that. I want to live in the present, and I can say that as much. And I always tell people it's not about perfection; it's about progress. But that progression sometimes kind of feels like it's at a standstill, and so I'm working on it. I don't know how to work on it. That's my That's where I'm at right now. I miss things, but I also yearn for what's next. Yeah.
No, that's really real. That's really real for sure. I think we're also getting older, and then like, this is the age where I used to make fun of my parents for being so nostalgic about everything.
Yeah.
Because we've lived a life that sometimes gets served up again to you in your memories. Where we can always just look back and be like, oh, I was hotter back then, and also I remember when it reminds you of the time you're just constantly reminded to be nostalgic. And I think that steals the opportunity for you to like appreciate the present. Oh my god, I sound like such a white girl right now.
It's giving.
It's
It's
giving.
giving, but also,
Don't let the
yeah,
Facebook
Live,
memories
laugh,
steal
love.
your present.
right.
But no, I feel like the friendships are evolving, but maybe it's just like you are in a place in your life right now, don't you, where you're just like trying to figure out. You are trying to figure out what's next.
Yeah, I'm
from,
in
like,
a
a very
transition
fundamental-
phase.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's the
And
trick.
I'm trying to like accept that and see what that next phase is going to be, but without having like a clear direction, like setting goals and on all that stuff. I don't want to set goals that I think I might fail, which maybe is another ADHD thing or just a general me thing. But I just gotta, I don't know, get a job and find therapy again.
Yeah.
yeah. Or you can sign up for like the community therapy. There's also that
yeah.
for unemployed people. Now that you've like kind of read the room a little bit, Cody. Now, what is your be real? What is something
what are
going
you
on in your
feeling?
life that you want to get real and personal about?
All right. I'm gonna be real with y'all.
Yeah.
I'm having a kid in a week.
What? Are congrats in order? Congrats in order?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Congratulations.
yes. So I
Congrats
donated
on
to
that.
my
Wait,
friends.
like-
So I
Wait, one of the
donated
best
my
meals
sperm to my friends,
Uh-huh.
and it took a year and a half of me overnighting my sperm to them, and then like I visited them, God, in November I think it was, and I just flew out to like have my sperm tested because like things weren't taking, and they were like, "Oh, would you be able to, at least like try and produce some more sperm?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Because they were ovulating when I was visiting. I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, why not? Like, I can jerk off again, sure." And that's when the baby took. And so the due date is August 7th, and I am just like,
That's
it's
wonderful.
kind of unreal.
Oh
I don't
my
know.
God.
Just like I'm
Oh my! Wait, are they lesbian or two women or two?
trans. They're both trans.
Huh?
Oh my! They're both trans, and then you
Yeah.
overnighted this.
They-
Did they
they
live in
asked
another
you.
state?
Yeah.
What
Yes
a,
and yes
Wow.
to both
what
of you.
a beautiful story.
Thank you.
Oh my
And so it's like
gosh.
it's kind of this culmination where like I haven't been getting along with like my actual family, but then it's also finding beauty in a new family that I'm helping
chosen
start. A chosen family. Exactly. And like I think this is like the epitome of chosen family, where it's like they chose me and I chose them, and
Wow.
it's
What are
just
some of the feelings that you're going through with it?
I mean, I'm still kind of in disbelief. It's and for so long, especially as queer men, I feel like I was never in a financial place nor a mental space to
Yeah.
like ever have kids, but I always wanted kids.
Very.
And this is in a way a dream coming true where it's like, oh, like I'm having a kid, but at the same time it's like I don't have to have all of those responsibilities that I may not be able to answer to. And so, but I can still like be in this child's life in any capacity that I want. And I'm just like, so
Yeah, we don't have to live in that so-called traditional sense of family, and I think this new form is it's great. Like I think that one of the things that like a lot of Americans don't realize that it was all about communities as family and not just like this so-called like relatively new nuclear family thing, and you'll be a part of a community.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's kind of like, with Asian families growing up, it's like, every female friend that your mom brings over is auntie. And you're like, are you guys sisters actually? No. Okay,
No.
cool. But they're still, I'm still going to
Everyone's
call them
uncle
like
and auntie.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, they're still family. So, yeah, it's kind of how that feels where like, my friends, like we have so many other friends too that are going to be a part of this kid's life, and they too will be uncle and auntie. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like, it's really exciting.
I've decided to wipe my whole other Be Real because my whole other Be Real was going to be on Netflix's The Boyfriend and my
Oh.
whole spiel was gonna be that Shun on there is toxic, and he's the most popular contestant on the show, and I feel like he's
Hmm.
popular because gay Asian men people who are avoidant to them because of their relationship with their father. It's a really long take, but
We
you
can
bring
still get into it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
we're gonna
That's
get
a good
into
take.
it. But hearing you say this is something that's like really present in my life right now because I there is a cis straight woman who's in her mid 40s who wanted to have a child with me,
Mm.
and but like just to donate my sperm. And I had decided that I don't want kids. Again, I'm still in this weird place, and I think we did a fatherhood episode like last year, where it's like I'm not sure if I don't want kids because I can't afford to, or because I don't want them, or because I don't think I deserve that life to be a father.
Mm.
And I think like slowly, I just think like I just don't want kids. It's not just like I'm trying to like analyze whether
There's
it's
not
like
a
just
reason. You
there's not a
just
reason.
not
Maybe I
for
just don't want
you.
kids, but like I kind of want them, but like I don't know if I want the responsibility for it. But like when that option came up, I was like very interested,
Hmm.
and so there was a lot of questions I've asked, right? Of like, and I just keep trying to put myself in the shoes of the child,
Hmm.
and maybe that question for you, Cody, is like, how are you approaching how much you want to be in this child's life,
Hmm.
and how you're negotiating that with like this couple that are
Yeah.
gonna raise this child.
I mean, they're two of the most understanding and sweet people that I know. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're like, whatever feels comfortable for you, that's what we want. And yeah, I'm very happy to be like the cool uncle that pops in every so often and just like spoils the kid rotten. So
Gunkles are the best.
yeah,
Gunkles are the
exactly. I'm
best.
here for gunkle duty, you know?
I think my fear is that like once that child is born, that I'm gonna have this like immense love for the child and just want to be there all the time. And
Mm,
if I have a partner who's like we've agreed not to have kids or something like that, is that
yeah.
gonna be something that like will
Oh,
be uncomfortable to negotiate?
right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the kid won't necessarily be living with you, right? So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I think I went through a similar type of thing when growing up. I think the because of the stigma of like, oh, you're gay, you won't have kids. But
right.
then when I was younger, my sister told me she was going to list me as a godfather, and I didn't know that it was a legal term. I thought it was just like a it's like, oh yeah, just like
Mm-hmm.
you're that. But I didn't realize that a godfather means that if you're something happens to the parents, you
Yeah.
become their like parent or
Mm-hmm.
Their
guardian,
guardian,
and
yeah.
that freaked me out.
Yeah.
And then I just thought about I would be so but as a young person and a queer person, I was thinking
Hmm.
I would be so cool as a parent, even when I was so young, that it would change my life, and I was scared of it. Um, but I was willing,
Yeah.
and I was almost excited for it. And it made me feel weird. It's like, no, I don't want my sister to die, but I was excited for it.
Right.
And then I had drag children, and now I don't want children. They're terrible people.
Fair.
My children are terrible. But no, I would I think I would appreciate it, and I want it, but I'm not pushing for it. I guess
Oh, yeah.
not at this age.
But we're excited for you, Cody.
Thank
And
Yes, I
you.
think.
Thank you.
Have you started talking about names? No, that's
They have a name, keeping it secret. I respect it. I'm like, all
great.
right. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
wait, so tell me how you would like overnight this sperm to them. You would jerk off and then run to
I would,
UPS or what?
so then I would put it into a freezer pack and mix my sperm with this like actual yolk nutrient that keeps it alive
Yeah,
overnight. And so it's like chilled, and then I would ship it over. Yeah,
Wow.
overnight. And so,
modern
yeah.
technology. Yeah, I
Modern
love
technology.
this.
Yeah. And then, it was just kind of fun being like, oh, yeah, there's nothing in there. Haha, it's nothing. The, there's nothing, but there's no biohazardous material inside this package. What are you talking about? Like when I would bring it over to the UPS, they're like, okay,
No, yeah, it's
it's
they're
just old
stamps.
sock. Yeah, they're stamps. Don't worry about it. It's cool.
I'm selling it on eBay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just sending cookies to my friends. Don't worry about it.
I'm excited for you and excited for them, and I think that excitement is a signal to how I feel about this topic for myself. So I don't know. It feels really like serendipitous that this was your B-roll.
Yeah, maybe we should have you back after the birth, and we could talk about
I would
that.
love that. Also, I'm secretly hoping that the child is born a day later, so it's August 8th, because 8-8, very lucky number in
Chinese.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
wow.
Bot.
Yep,
Fat.
exactly.
Fat.
8, 8. My dad just adds random numbers to be 8. He'd be like 8 8 and then like 4 plus 6, 2 plus 4 because it's 2024. Wait, 2024 means just 2 plus 2 plus 4, which is also 8. None of your parents do that.
The
Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
the numerology.
yeah.
So funny.
So I hope it's an 8 8 birth too. But if
I
not,
hope
still think
so.
I'm excited for you.
I mean, the kid's still going to be a Leo and a golden dragon, so we're good.
Oh, it is a dragon year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wait, what? I sound like also a white girl. What is your sign? Both American and Chinese.
Aquarius and monkey.
No, my sister's a monkey. I love that. Oh,
Oh yeah.
I feel like this
So
is
what do you
weird.
don't, Jeff?
Yeah. What do you?
I'm a lamb, and a Scorpio. I'm supposedly a triple Scorpio. I don't know what that means, but
Oh, like the poppers? Oh no, that's double
oh my
Scorpio.
god,
Sorry. Wow. Oops.
double. I'm Poppers Plus. Poppers Plus.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
I'm a rat and I'm a Capricorn, which shows all the time.
Okay.
Oh, Cabra.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we're almost at the end, but first, I want to send us all off with a quick game of say yeah or say no.
So we're gonna ask like random topics to use, Cody, and you just gotta tell us whether you're down for them with like a say yeah, or if you're like hell no about them, which you're like say no. Pretty simple. Say yeah, say no.
So easy. We got
All right, first one, say yeah or say no. Do you jerk off to anime?
No.
So you were attracted to
fascinating.
the Dragon Ball Z guys, but you didn't jerk off to them.
I don't know. In a way, part of me is like, as an artist, I see it as like art, and
It's work.
it's work. Yeah, exactly. Where I'm just like, oh no, this is like too precious for me to masturbate to. I don't know.
No, it is a valid.
Yeah, well, we're like, I would say no too, but once in a while on Twitter there's a gif of like a nipple or something.
Right.
And I mean, I'm like,
or
oh, I feel that.
yeah, or like the bara like hentai or whatever. Like I'll get down with that though. Where I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
like this was like made with the intention of, yeah, people
Yeah.
getting off of this. I'm like, okay, well, this is pretty erotic, sure.
I mean, I've been awkwardly into that Bolin Mako stuff from Avatar.
Oh,
It's kind of
Yeah.
hot. I know they're brothers, but still, at least it's still fake.
yeah, they're handsome. That's for sure.
All right, I don't know if you've seen this, so just you can plead the fifth. Say yeah or say no. The Olympics opening ceremony.
Yeah,
The
the way
did
that
it
I
for you?
delivered that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
French. It's very French.
It's 2024. It's different. The
Yeah.
Olympics are revered in a different way.
Yeah, I think it's all silly.
Yeah, and you know what? We're just never gonna get the Beijing opening ceremony.
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
With 1,000 performers that weren't protesting, or they would get beat.
Yeah, right.
But in absolute synchronization, it showed you like
beautiful.
thousands of years of culture. It was amazing.
I know. Shen Yun could never,
Couldn't.
but they try.
They make money off that spirit still.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, they benefited from it.
Okay, so also once again, like we said, you can plead the fifth. Or we're gonna edit this out. Say yeah or say no. Austin Wolf.
No. Hell no.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
All right.
We don't have to hover on there. So we're gonna say yeah or say no. Brat Summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like that was in the middle.
Yeah. It's just yeah, you can't escape it.
Can't
So
escape it. And it's like
I've learned to accept it.
Yeah. I mean, Bao had to describe to me that Brett Summer was not Brett Stalls last time, so.
Oh.
I just meant that was an album by Charlie XCX, and I said
And
all
not
these
a song.
He's like, and not a song. Oh.
But you know what? I posted on our Instagram a Brett Summer story.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get down with the kids.
If
Not
it's getting
in that way.
Kamala if it's getting Kamala to be president, then I'm down for it.
Yeah, same.
yeah.
That's where I'm at too. I'm like, all right, Kamala's Mimalas, let's go.
Memelas.
Yeah, the Mimalas.
All right, say yeah or say no. Circuit parties.
No.
Ooh, wait, that deserves a little bit of a why.
I'm more into house and techno.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
But
I'm much
no offense to people who love circuit music who listen to
Yeah,
this. which is a lot of
exactly. I'm
people.
like,
For
y'all
us, for
enjoy,
them.
have fun. Yeah,
gonna
I just
party
know what
in New
I
York.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, one last one. Say yeah or say no. Sorry, COVID and drinks. Pete Buttigieg as VP.
No.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just like. I love the guy and I love a gay, but I don't think the voters that we need are going to necessarily support both Kamala and Pete.
Even though Ratface Summer is in.
Yeah, a rat face
Rat
summer.
face summer. Oh my god, the internet is so.
That's the tea. But like, I don't know. I think it would be like a little too much for some voters, where they're
Yeah,
like,
the swing
"You
voters.
want
Most
me to
voters.
vote for?" Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And
So
you
it's
guys want to
like
fight us on it?
that'd be a dream
Sound off.
ballot for sure, but I think that would be
there's, like-
too much, too
Yeah, is
progressive.
Meredith
for
and
folks.
Ohio going to vote for that ticket? You know,
Exactly. You'd be like, absolutely not. Yeah.
that's your next character, Meredith from
Yeah.
Ohio.
Meredith from Ohio.
And with that, we want to thank you for your time with us. We're done. We don't want to keep you for too much longer. I'm so glad you joined us. And
Yeah.
as
Thank you.
your
Thank you.
biggest stalker, fan, I'm so happy that we got to talk.
Next time I'll wear stockings
Yeah.
for the stalking. Yeah, there you
Don't
go.
tease.
We love a little
Don't
wordplay.
tease. Where can people follow you, Cody?
Yes. So my Instagram is silver.cody, and then my Twitter is Cody_Seiya, Seiya.
And
Yeah.
also, just as importantly, where can people find and buy your artwork?
Thank you. CodySilver.me is the URL. And so I have like a site.
CodySilver.me.
I need to double check. But yes.
Look for his artwork. Buy his artwork. It's beautiful. It's fun.
Thank
it's
you.
queer.
I'm gonna do it now. I think they need to add some queer art to this thing.
Oh yeah. More is on the way. Yeah, thank you both for having me too. Like this is so awesome. I hope to be on here again.
Oh,
Yeah.
please come back.
Be real
Please come
again.
back.
We can't wait. We can all like shit on other things together.
Oh yeah. I'm down.
So you can follow all of us at Literally Gaysians wherever you do your social media or listen to your podcasts, Instagram, Patreon, TikTok.
And until next time, bye. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Cody.
Thank you.
Yay.